Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Boy, this was a fast week. They are going fast, aren't they? Or at least I think they are. They just seem, you know, time is flying by. Anyway, I want to talk to you today about, I'm going to ask you a question and I want your comments on how you feel. And the question is, what advice would you want to pass on to your younger self? Now, I'll tell you my answer to that is I would tell my younger self not to worry and use the energy on losing weight. I hate to even I hate to even tell you guys this because when I look back on it, it's just so obnoxious and so terrible that I just can't. Um, I don't know, makes me, I hate to even talk about it, but anyway, I weighed 110 pounds when I got married 58 years ago. Now, I have to tell you, and this is what I'm ashamed to say, but anyway, I thought I was fat at 110, and I'm like, I was so upset the night before my wedding, and I didn't want, my husband to see me because it was so, I mean, I don't, it just, the whole thing is just crazy. I hate to even talk about it. But anyway, I did spend my life, and any of you out there that have known me know that it has always been an issue of mine. And I've never been really obese, or I've never been really, I've always had that 10 or 15 pounds to lose. And really, not even that as much until I turned 50 probably, but I always thought I was fat. I had that image in my mind. So, I used to say to my husband when we got married, I said, I'm going to end up in a mental institution because I'm 10 pounds overweight. Now, that is just crazy. But I have to say, even okay, when I turned 50, we were out on this boat with our really good friends, and it was my 50th birthday. And of course, we were all laughing and talking. And Tom was taking pictures of me, and I said, "Stop it! I don't want you taking pictures of me. I look terrible." And he said, "Oh, shut up." He said, "10 years from now, you'll look back at those pictures and you'll think you look great." Well, guess what? Yeah, 10 years later, 15 years later, whatever, I looked back at those pictures on that boat and I'm like, gee whiz. I mean, I looked pretty good when I turned 50. But you know what? I just, I know a lot of you out there are going to relate to what I'm saying because I've heard it before, but I wasted so much energy on it, so much energy. And I would tell my younger self to just stop it. I remember when my daughter, and I'm sure I've passed this on to my daughter, she's very trim and very, exercises a lot and everything, but I talked about it all the time when she was growing up, and she hasn't ever brought it up to me, and I'm so thankful because I would just feel terrible and probably sit and cry for days. But I remember when she was a teenager and I was in a exercise class, and I came home. I used to use the word F all the time, fat, and it took me quite a while. Only I would say maybe 15, 20 years ago when I stopped using the F word. And so, but I said to her, I said, I am just the fattest person in that class. And she said, yeah, but mother, at least you're over there trying, you're over there doing something about it. And then also one time we were out at this camp, and it was a walking camp, and it was like we walked like, 10 miles a day or something it wasn't a weight loss camp, but it was kind of that, but they didn't publicize that. And we went back to our room one night and I said, Michelle, look, I mean, I'm like the heaviest person out there walking. And, blah, blah, I don't know what else I said. And she looked at me and she had this really sad look on her face. And she said, Mother, would you say that to a little child? And I said, of course I wouldn't say that. And she said, well, then why do you say that to that child in you? It's just a terrible thing to say. And I could tell it really hurt her. And it used to hurt my mother when I don't even know where it came from, you guys. I honestly don't. I didn't have any teasing and I wasn't overweight. I don't know where it came from, but I have spent my entire life using way too much energy on that. And I look back and that is the one regret that I have. And I don't have very many regrets, but I do have that. And then, even here at the age of um, 80 years old, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'd love to be able to lose 10 pounds, but, all right. I saw a friend of mine the other day and she said, okay, 10 pounds, more wrinkles. Oh, which is it? And I'm like, I don't know. I still would like to lose 10 pounds. And we all know that that just creates more wrinkles. But I'm happy with myself, so it's not like I degrade myself or that I think I look terrible or any of that. It's just that inner thought that I've always had, maybe it's from a past life or something. I don't know, but I've always had that there, and it's really, really too bad. And I know you all, we can look back on pictures of our life and you go like, gee, I didn't know I looked that good. It's too bad I didn't know I looked that good. I would have enjoyed it more. But I was in the clothing business with my clothing store and going to New York all the time, and I was very conscious of it, back then. And in fact, I have to tell you a funny story. The salesman that came to our shop, who sold clothes and pants and blazers and stuff like that. And then afterwards, we went out to I would get samples. A lot of times the samples were too small, and I couldn't wear them. And I'm like, oh shoot, because I didn't have the money to really buy some clothes back then. So anyway, we're sitting having a glass of wine, and I say in a very loud voice, I said, Dennis, I've got to be able to get into your pants. I mean, it's like, oh, because you wanted to order something fattening or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody turned and looked at me. And now, guys, we're talking, 40 years ago. So that wouldn't maybe be so unusual today. But back then it was very, very unusual. So and then of course his statement was, well, Gene, I'd love for you to be able to get into my pants or, whatever. But I do look back on that and I just think, darn it, I wasted way too much energy. And now I can't let it, good Lord, at 80 years old, why would I even think about it? I just wouldn't think about it. And I don't think about it very much. But anyway, that is my one thing that I would pass on to my younger self. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear about me or my weight or any of that stuff. I want to hear from you that what advice would you give your younger self about anything? Because it's kind of interesting to think about that. So, let me know. Write me back and let me know what your answer is. Okay? Now, it's a really dreary, cloudy day in Minneapolis, but I love cloudy, dreary days. Don't ask me why. See, maybe I'm kind of crazy. But I love it. And I love, just like I love sunny days, and I love stormy days, and I love snowy days. So, anyway, have a wonderful weekend. And I'm going to leave you again with that quote that I gave you last week, which I still love, is with all this stuff that's going on, you all, the COVID they say is going to ramp up. Everything is just, the election and the Black Lives Matter. I love this quote, and it's be strong, be calm, and be positive. And I think that just tells it all right there. We've got to be strong, we've got to stay calm, and we've got to be positive. No matter what you want to be positive about, we have to be positive. So, my darlings, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Love you guys.